What is up, everybody? Welcome to Bob's Holly World. This is me, Bob Hollywood. Today, I got a couple of figures for you. This isn't a figure review. It's not anything like that. It's just me going over some figures I recently acquired as of the time of me making this video, and there they go for the first time. As of the time of me making this video, these are a few weeks old, maybe almost a month old. But I've been super busy. I haven't had the chance to make this video and videos like it. This is a section. This is a segment I want to call Civvies, Superheroes, Soldiers, and there's another S somewhere in there. Spacemen. And in order, it's Civvies, Soldiers, Spacemen, and Superheroes. And the reason why it's called that, because as you can see, all these figures are one of four of those qualities or varieties. There are no what I would consider civvies, which is short for civilians in this, but there are quite a bit of the other three, or at least a few of each. The way they were standing up was the way I had them ranked from my least favorite to favorite, starting from the front left. So here we have Black Lightning. He's a very popular guy right now because he has a television show, but he's blurry. I cannot get him to focus. So yeah, we got Black Lightning right here. And the reason why I'm not a big fan of this guy is he's just so small. His articulation is decent, but he is really tiny. His wrist, he has wrist joints here, but as you can see, they're like halfway up his forearm. Other than that, his articulation is great. It's just he's so small. I got a ruler right here, and as you can see, he's just over 3 inches. He's like almost 3.5. So these are 3 3/4 inch figures, 1/18 scale, 1 in 1/18 scale. But he's pretty tiny. So he's my least favorite of the few. I'm glad I have him because I like black action figures, and he's actually the only one in this little bunch, unless you want to count somebody whose name is goes along with that, but he's not actually black. Number 2, we have this Michael Keaton Batman. This is another DC figure. This one is actually from the Multiverse line. He's got decent articulation. What I don't like about this figure is, it's got Michael Keaton's face. It's a cowlless Batman, but he's fine. He has great articulation, at least upper body wise. The lower body, he has knees and his legs, and he has thigh swivels, but he doesn't have any sort of foot pivot or anything. The likeness is fairly decent. I think out of all of the figures we have here today that are made to look like a person, this is the one that looks the least like that person. But he's not ugly or anything. It's just I don't like him that much. If he had his helmet on or his cowl, he'd probably be higher ranked because I actually do like him, but he just doesn't have that. Put him to the side. Next we have Captain Atom. Captain Atom comes from the same line as this guy, and the Batman that's back there laying down is also with them. They were in a 3-pack, so this is Batman, Superman, Public Enemies. And he's ranked higher than the Black Lightning, just because his wrist articulation is actually on his wrist and not his forearm, and that means a lot. I think he's a little bit taller than him. Yeah, he's leaning on him. He's dunking on Black Lightning if he had to. But he's cool. Another thing I didn't like about that particular 3-pack, and really with this Captain Atom more than the other two, is that the paint came off a little bit. Now these are older. All of these are older. None of these are like new. None of these just came out in stores, but these were all new. None of these were bought used. They were all in their boxes. I took them all out of their boxes, and this guy just had some paint issues. But other than that, I like him. He has a mole. You can see that mole, and Captain Atom doesn't have a mole, but this toy does. Next up, we have Batman, who fell down. Batman is also from Public Enemy. His name's in the title. He has this little plastic cape, which is cool. The other Batman had a cloth cape. You might have saw that blowing in the wind because I have a fan on. Hopefully you can hear me over the fan. Same thing with the Captain Atom. He has good articulation. This Batman, I can't say his name for some reason, is pretty darn dark. Camera does not want to focus, but he's dark. He's got a tan going on. So he's much darker than you would imagine Batman to be. If we look at this Batman, Michael Keaton Batman, he has a normal, fleshy white person complexion. This Batman is maybe from Northern Africa, or south of the border here in America. But he has a tan. He's not really accurate to Batman. But other than that, I like him. He has good articulation, just like the other two that he came with. Only his wrists are also just like Black Lightning. Excuse me, the Adams. Captain Adams is in the right spot, but other than that, I don't really like him. I like him more than the other Batman because he has a mask, but other than that, I don't really like him. Number 5, we have the All-Father Odin. And I can't tell you exactly which line. This is from the Thor movie, the first one, but other than that, I can't tell you which wave or anything. He looks like Anthony Hopkins. He does. He has that likeness. He really does look like Anthony Hopkins. Only reason why he ranks so low is because he gave me trouble standing up, and his legs are difficult to pose. But other than that, I like him. He's cool. He's just, at this point, he's so low because I like the other characters more. The other figures I showed you, they were low because I didn't really like them. But this guy I like. He's cool. He looks like Anthony Hopkins. That's all I'm going to say about that. Number 6, we have a Hydra soldier. And if you couldn't tell from the other ones, all these were new out of package, relatively, got them relatively short ago. I still have all their accessories. He's the most obvious that he's not with his accessories. He has like this big flamethrower gun sort of thing. I call it a flamethrower gun because it has two options. It has like a blue projectile and it has a red projectile, which is obviously flame. This guy is pretty cool. He's not super detailed, but he has good articulation. Nothing below the knee, so no ankle anything, but he's cool. I would love to get more of these guys just for like army building, because why not? He's plain, identityless, faceless. Would have been an easier way to say that. No waist swivel, but this is fodder. I can have 1 million of these and it's realistic, like he's just a blank face soldier. He is wearing a mask. I could have 100 of these. I could paint them differently, maybe, or I can keep them just like that, and no one will be able to say, "Oh, he used that same figure over." That's it for him. Up next, we have a Batman. This one from the Arkham series, and this is also from the multiverse, like the cowless Batman. This one's cool. He has wrists. He's a meaty guy. The only thing I don't like about this one is he's just so short. Like DC makes their figures so short, and he's standing just under 4 inches. But look at the Odin Son that I'm going to do next. The Odin Son is huge compared to him, and maybe that should be Marvel's fault for going so large. But I don't know. I just feel like this Batman's small, formidable, but like the paint is awesome. I never played any of the Arkham games, but he looks badass. So I like the armor. Even though Batman's probably more of a beast without armor, but he's awesome. This is an awesome figure. He has the right skin tone, so that's a plus. Next up, we have Odin Son. Now this is Thor, Unworthy Thor, and he's cool. He's a big guy. He's tall. He's tall. He's almost 5 inches. He's 4 4/4, so he's a whole inch taller than the scale should be. He has great articulation. I really, really wanted this figure when I found out about him. It's mostly because he also came with Lady Thor, Jane Foster. The one thing I don't really like about this guy is here at his wrist, his little bracelets are painted on instead of sculpted, instead of an accessory. And I'm not going to cry about it, but I thought that would have been cool. I have his accessory. All the accessories are put away for the most part. He came with an axe because he's unworthy. He doesn't have Mjolnir. But other than that, he's cool. He's a big dude. I was slightly disappointed in this one when I took him out of the package, but I still like him overall. He's my first and only Thor right now, so he's cool. I like him. I like the basic look. He doesn't look like a superhero. He just looks like a guy who worked on a farm back in the Middle Ages or something. Pretty cool. He's got this smirk on his face because he's unworthy. Next up, we have Yondu. Now, Yondu came in a 2-pack with that Star-Lord that's back there. This guy's cool. He looks like Michael Rooker. He looks insane. He's smiling. I took off his coat because of the way the color of his shirt. It looks like he's cool. It doesn't look like he had on a coat. He just looked like a guy that, I don't know, puts tractors together. You know, an alien that puts tractors together. He looks good without the coat. He looks good with the coat, but I took it off. He didn't come with his arrow, which is odd. He clearly has a holster, but he came with no arrow. Star-Lord came with his guns, but this guy didn't come with any arrow. No waist swivel, but other than that, pretty good articulation. Also no wrist, but like I said, this guy's badass. The only reason why he's so low, he's not low, he's in the top half of the list, but the only reason why he's so low is because I just like the other figures more than I like this one. But awesome Michael Rooker likeness there. Next, number 10, we have this Skrull soldier, I believe. And the title of this video says 17 figures, and you clearly saw only 15 there. I was saving number 1 off camera, but the reason why it's 17 is because I actually have 2 of this guy. Yeah, there were 2 of them. It wasn't a 2-pack or anything. I just saw both of them. I'm really into this 3 3/4 line or size, so I saw both of them. I said, hey, why not buy both of them? So I have both of their accessories. They're just 2 soldiers. I could build up a whole army of Skrull one day maybe, and these 2 are there. They were the first. I don't know them apart. I probably won't know them apart from the new ones if I ever get any more, but you know, it's the thought that counts. So these guys are number 10. Their articulation is probably one of the weakest of all of the figures. They're up there with the DC figures with the same. They get this forearm swivel, this elbow swivel rather, but no articulation lower than the knee. But they kick out. Not all of the other DC ones did that. But I don't know. I just like them. They just seem awesome. They're different. These are obviously Spacemen in the out of the title, just like the Yondu. I think those are the only Spacemen. The Yondu and these 2 are the only Spacemen. Everybody else so far has been superheroes, or well, I guess Odin counts as a spaceman, but I'm just counting him as a superhero. Next up, we have Volstagg, and this guy's cool. I ranked him high, even though he should have been lower, because when I was doing this, when I was setting him up before I started the video, he refused to stand, and he probably still refuses to stand. He's standing now, but it was irritating me. I wanted to put him as the worst, but I wouldn't have been being honest with myself. I really don't like that Black Lightning figure. This looks like Ray Stevenson. Like, this is... The Michael Rooker looks like Michael Rooker. The Michael Rooker Yondu has the best likeness, but this is insane. He looks like Ray Stevenson. And I like Ray Stevenson. Like, going back, he's funny in the Thor films. I've only seen the first and the third one. It doesn't last long in the third one. But going back to, like, Punisher Warzone, and he did another movie with like Nazi zombies or whatever, which was insane. I mean, that's a not the greatest body of work for me to list, and I don't really have anything else, but I enjoyed everything I've seen Ray Stevenson in, or Stevens. I feel bad. Is it Ray Stevens or Ray Stevenson? But you know I know who I'm talking about, and he's awesome as Volstagg. He's smaller. He's on the smaller end. He's not as small as Black Lightning, but out of the Warriors 3 from the Thor comics, he should be the largest, and they didn't make him a big figure. You know, some of the Marvel Legends figures are like 5 inches for the bigger figures like Hulk and Colossus and Juggernaut. They could have done that with this guy, but it is movie likeness, so I'm not complaining. It's not comic likeness, and he looks like how he looks in the movie. Next up, another DC multiverse. This time we have Azrael, and this mofo is cool. Again, I've never played the Batman. I'm about to say Darkman, the Batman Arkham games, so I don't know why he looks like this. As I check, he didn't look like this in the comics, but I haven't read a comic with him in it in a long time, and yeah, this is cool. He comes with a sword. I love his sword. It comes with a sheath as well. It's this whole sword and sheath. They're both detachable. He has like this claw on his arm, looking like Baraka. This dude just looks dope. Like, he looks like a crusader. Looks like a Knights Templar. He's got these little these feather things. They're stuck together, but you know they're also articulate. His ankle doesn't do anything, but his wrists do and his arms do. He's pretty dope, man. He is. Again, he's another one. He's another one that would be ranked higher if I didn't like the other figures more. This guy is definitely worthy of the top 5, in which he's in. He's in the top 5 because, again, number 1's off screen, but this guy is awesome. So far as my favorite DC one. I'm not a big fan of DC ones because they're so short, and this guy is no exception. He's short. Oh, he's 3. He's the right height. I should stop calling him short because the Marvel ones are the ones that are tall, but that's all I gotta say about him. Next, we have Spider-Man Noir, and this is the other one I was sent a black figure because his name is Noir. He has ankle articulation. Not ankle. I meant his wrist. He has wrist articulation. He has this bad mask, this BA mask, this badass mask. I don't know why I tried to edit myself there. It's just a word. The only thing I don't like about this guy is his legs are a little bit difficult to maneuver. So one leg right now, just they don't want to move. Like, I know how to move them if I want to get them in some poses, but it's difficult. But the costume, oh man, the costume is sexy. Look at this black leather jacket. Obviously, it's not leather because it's a toy. But and these black boots, gloves, mask, goggles, and just the jeans, I'm guessing. Cargo jeans. But, like, I'm not a fan of Spider-Man. I will tell you that anytime you ask. He's probably my least favorite superhero. He's definitely my least favorite superhero. But this one is badass. If Spider-Man looked like this, I'd be on board 24/7. Like, he just looks cool. I know he's from an alternate universe or dimension, but this dude is awesome. Awesome to the max. Next up, we have Lady Thor, or Jane Foster. I call her Jane Foster. I think Lady Thor is a little disrespectful. She's her own person. But, same thing with the DC, the 3-pack, the Public Enemy. There's a little bit of paint issues, but she's cool. She's super cool. She comes with Mjolnir, and that's my only Mjolnir. She has this helmet, which is awesome. It doesn't come off, but she's cool. I thought maybe, well, her ankles could, these ankle accessories could come off if I took her feet off, but it's not necessary. I wanted to get this skirt off, but it doesn't seem to be a way. The Odin's son, his skirt comes off, but he looks weird without it. That's why that's one of the few accessories that are still packaged with the toys and not with the accessories. But she's cool. She's cool for what she is. She's a female Viking. She's an Asgardian, an ass-kicking Asgardian, and she's cool. She's in number 3. She's in the top 3. More than the Thor, I was excited to get her. I mean, she doesn't have any wrist articulation, neither does the Thor, but like, I wanted this figure. And the funny thing about the two of them is they were going on eBay for like 20 plus bucks. They were like 2 years old at this point. I got them at the store that I got the majority of these from for $6. It was listed for 10. It was more than 30 days dated, and all their toys like that were 40% off. So this was $6. Oh no, I bought a lot of toys that day from that store, and I spent $20. No, I spent like $30 or something. No, $25. But yeah, she's cool. She's number 3. She's got some great musculature. This might be my favorite female action figure. The only one that's listed, only one shown here today, but this might be my favorite female 3 3/4. Number 2, we have Star-Lord, who of course came in the 2-pack with Yondu. His jacket comes off just like Yondu's does, but he's wearing a gray shirt underneath, and a gray shirt with red arms look weird. I'm currently in the process of finding a Chris Pratt head that I can take this head off permanently and replace with Chris Pratt's head. And so far no good. I've been told that the Jurassic World heads do not work. They could be too small, and I could see that. But that's a goal of mine, to replace this HID with Chris Pratt's face. Nothing wrong with this mask. It's Star-Lord. But I just wanted to replace it. But he looks, I would say, out of the 4 or so characters that are supposed to look like somebody in real life, he looks the least like it, because obviously his face is covered. Other than that, no complaints. He looks like he's from the movie. The details, like, they just look good. The MCU figures. Over, like, if it was a 6-inch figure, I would want the cartoon or the comic figure, but these 6-inch, these 3 3/4 look great. Not saying that the 6/4 don't, the 6-inch don't, but I prefer the 6-inch figures to be cartoons or comics. I prefer the 3 3/4, if they can pull it off, to look like the MCU. And last but not least is Daredevil. This guy is articulate to the gills. He's not a fish, but so he doesn't have gills. But everything you could think of being articulated is articulated. His head swivels, goes up and down. Shoulders go up. He doesn't want to right now. He's a little stiff, but his shoulders go up. His arm twists. That arm wants to come off. It wanted to go up. It didn't want to go up just now. I might have to put him in some hot water so he doesn't break. He's so awesome. Elbows bend. Wrist twist. No, they don't do like that, but they twist. Waist. He has this chest thing. He can do a crunch. He can do an ab crunch. Get that exercise in, Wody. He can twist. His feet, his legs, they kick out to the side. They kick out forward. They twist at the thigh. Double knee joints. So he can get all the way back. And Daredevil is super athletic. He's like a Spider-Man, but without powers other than the fact that he can hear really well. His ankle twists that way. It doesn't go like that. But he has the shin. His shin. Whose shin does it? This toy has too much articulation. He came with his Billy Club in 2 pieces. And that's it. He's just... Look at the detail, like the darkening, the muscular tones. Like, he's sculpted that way, but the paint is great. This is hands down the favorite one that I bought this week, or that week when I bought these. No questions asked. Like, if you would ask me my favorite, hands down this Daredevil. Not a big fan of Daredevil outside of his MCU counterpart. I've read some Daredevil comics, so I know who he is. He's cool, it just does nothing for me. My favorite Marvel superheroes would be the Hulk and Thor, Captain America, guys like that. But this guy is just awesome. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it there. I'm going to bring them all back in fame. They're just in a pile. But yeah, these guys are awesome. And that's it. That's it, guys. Thank you. Thank you for tuning into my first episode of Civvies, Soldiers, Spacemen, and Superheroes. I've been Bob Hollywood with Bob's Hollyworld. Thank you, guys.